Welcome back to Critical Choices, where your decisions mean the difference between life and death in history's darkest moments. Today, you're living through the Black Death, the most devastating pandemic in human history. It's 1347, and you're William, a merchant in the bustling port city of Genoa, Italy. The plague has just arrived from Asia, aboard ships from the Crimea, and it will kill an estimated 25 to 30 million people across Europe, nearly 40% of the population. You start with 10 points of life. This disease kills quickly and horribly, causing high fevers and painful swellings, called buboes. Your survival depends on making smart choices as medieval Europe faces its greatest catastrophe. At the end, we'll rank how well you survived, based on your remaining life points. The plague ships have docked, and death walks among us. October 1347. A ship from the Crimea has just docked in your home port of Genoa. The vessel carries exotic goods from the east, but something is terribly wrong. Half the crew is dead or dying, and those still alive are covered in dark swellings and bleeding from their mouths. The ship's rats are also dying, lying scattered across the dock. Local authorities are unsure what to do, as this mysterious disease is unlike anything they've seen before. Word spreads quickly through the narrow medieval streets that a strange sickness has arrived. Some citizens are already showing symptoms: fever, chills, and painful lumps in their necks and armpits. The local physicians are baffled, and their traditional treatments of bloodletting and prayer seem ineffective. As a merchant, you have connections throughout the city and access to information from other traders. You must decide how to respond to this emerging crisis that will soon engulf all of Europe in unprecedented death and suffering. If you chose one, you recognize the danger immediately and begin preparations to leave Genoa before the disease spreads further. Your quick action keeps you at 10 points of life and positions you ahead of the disaster. If you chose to, you approach the plague ship to examine the sick sailors, exposing yourself to infected fleas and contaminated air. You contract a mild case of the plague. You lose 2 points of life and now have 8 points. If you chose 3, you wisely gather food, medicine, and other essentials while avoiding direct contact with the sick. You maintain your 10 points of life and are well prepared for the crisis ahead. If you chose 4, you dismiss the reports as exaggeration and continue conducting business as usual, completely unprepared for the catastrophe. You lose 1 point of life and now have 9 points due to missed opportunities to protect yourself. Within weeks, the plague has spread like wildfire through Genoa and neighboring cities. The disease spreads through fleas and through the air, making it nearly impossible to avoid. Bodies are piling up in the streets faster than they can be buried, and the stench of death fills the air. Many physicians have fled or died themselves, leaving people desperate for any kind of treatment. Whole cities are being devastated as the disease moves on after killing as many as 1/3 of the population. Religious leaders claim it's God's punishment for humanity's sins, while others blame Jewish communities, leading to violent persecution. Trade has collapsed, food is becoming scarce, and social order is breaking down. The symptoms are unmistakable. Now, fever, chills, vomiting, and the dreaded buboes that give the plague its name. Those who catch it usually die within 3 to 5 days. You must make critical decisions about how to protect yourself and your family as civilization crumbles around you and death stalks every street. If you chose one, you successfully join other survivors heading to rural areas where the plague spreads more slowly. But the difficult journey and exposure to other refugees weakens you. You lose 1 point of life. If you chose to, you isolate yourself effectively, avoiding infected people and contaminated areas while living off your stockpiled supplies. You maintain your current life points and stay healthy. If you chose 3, you work with city officials to organize burials and distribute food. But constant exposure to death and disease takes its toll. You find some herbal medicine that helps boost your health. You lose 2 points of life, but recover 1 point. If you chose 4, you crowd into the monastery with hundreds of other terrified people, creating perfect conditions for the plague to spread rapidly among the refugees. You lose 3 points of life, and if this brings you to 0 or below, your story ends in death. The plague has now been devastating Europe for 3 long years, from 1347 to 1350. This is the peak of the pandemic, and death is everywhere. Those afflicted die quickly and horribly from an unseen menace, spiking high fevers with suppurative beauty. Entire families have been wiped out, villages stand empty, and fields lie unharvested. The social fabric of medieval Europe is completely unraveling. Many survivors have turned to extreme religious practices, forming groups of flagellants who whip themselves in public, believing this will appease God's wrath. Others have abandoned all moral restraints, believing the world is ending. Food is extremely scarce, law and order have collapsed in many areas, and bandits roam the countryside. Medical knowledge is virtually non-existent, with most treatments actually making the disease worse. Some people are showing natural resistance to the plague, but nobody understands why. You are among the survivors, but you face constant danger from disease, starvation, violence, and social collapse as medieval civilization teeters on the brink of complete destruction. If you chose 1, you join the religious extremists. But their practices weaken your body, and their close contact spreads disease among the group. You contract a serious case of plague, you lose 4 points of life, and if this brings you to 0 or below, your story ends in death. If you chose to, you successfully organize with other survivors, creating a mutual support system that improves everyone's chances of survival through shared resources and knowledge. You maintain your current life points. If you chose 3, you retreat into the wilderness and live off the land, avoiding all human contact and thus avoiding the plague, but facing the challenges of survival in nature alone. You maintain your current life points, but face other dangers. If you chose 4, you journey toward a major city but find it in complete chaos, with plague running rampant and no functioning government or medical care remaining. You lose 2 points of life from exposure and failed hopes. By 1351, the worst of the Black Death has passed, but Europe is forever changed. An estimated 25 to 30 million people have died, representing nearly 40% of the population. You are among the survivors, but the world you knew has been completely destroyed. Vast areas of farmland lie abandoned, entire bloodlines have been extinguished, and economic systems have collapsed. However, for those who survived, there are also new opportunities. Labor is now extremely valuable due to massive population loss, and social mobility has increased dramatically. Some survivors are claiming abandoned properties, while others are rebuilding their communities from scratch. The Church's authority has been severely undermined as prayers failed to stop the plague, leading to new religious and philosophical movements. Medical knowledge is slowly advancing as people seek to understand what happened. You must decide how to rebuild your life in this post-apocalyptic medieval world, where the old social order has been shattered and new possibilities exist for those brave enough to seize them despite the ongoing trauma and loss. If you chose 1, You successfully claim fertile abandoned land and begin farming. But the physical demands of agricultural work and potential exposure to lingering disease weakens you. You lose 1 point of life, but gain security for the future. If you chose to, you use the social disruption to establish profitable new trade relationships, becoming wealthy from the economic opportunities created by the population collapse. You maintain your current life points and prosper. If you chose. 3. You work to rebuild religious institutions, but dealing with traumatized and skeptical survivors while handling plague victims. Belongings exposes you to residual health risks. You lose 2 points of life. If you chose 4, you dedicate yourself to preserving the historical record of the pandemic, creating valuable documentation, but spending time around contaminated materials and plague sites. You lose 1 point of life but contribute to future understanding. It is now 1352, and the Black Death has finally ended, but its impact will resonate for centuries. The plague created religious, social, and economic upheavals, with profound effects on the course of European history. You have survived one of humanity's greatest catastrophes, emerging into a world with dramatically different social structures, economic opportunities, and cultural values. The massive death toll has led to labor shortages that benefit working people, while the breakdown of feudalism creates new possibilities for social advancement. Art, literature, and philosophy are beginning to reflect the trauma and transformation of the plague years. Medical understanding has advanced slightly, with some recognition that quarantine and sanitation helped prevent disease spread. However, the psychological scars run deep, and many survivors struggle with what we would now recognize as trauma and survivor's guilt. Your survival story is part of a larger human drama of resilience and adaptation in the face of unimaginable loss. The choices you made throughout this pandemic have determined not only whether you lived or died, but also how you will rebuild your life in this transformed world. If you chose 1, you spend your energy helping other survivors, providing comfort and practical assistance. But the emotional toll and continued exposure to traumatized people affects your own health. You lose 1 point of life but create lasting, positive impact. If you chose to, you successfully exploit the economic opportunities created by the population collapse, becoming wealthy but remaining emotionally distant from the community's suffering. You maintain your current life points and prosper materially. If you chose 3, you retreat from society due to trauma, which protects you from further exposure to disease and stress, but leaves you isolated and mentally strained. You lose 2 points of life from depression and isolation. If you chose for EU work to establish quarantine procedures and sanitation measures that will help prevent future outbreaks, contributing to public health advancement. You maintain your current life points and help protect future generations. Your survival ranking, 10 to 8 points. Incredible. You are a legendary survivor of the Black Death, humanity's most devastating pandemic. Your smart decisions helped you survive when the plague was taking a proportionately greater toll of life than any other known epidemic or war up to that time. Like the fortunate minority who lived through this catastrophe, you not only survived, but emerged ready to rebuild civilization. 7 to 5 points. You survived the Black Death, but it came at a significant cost to your health and well-being. The pandemic left you weakened and traumatized, but alive when millions perished. Your survival represents the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable suffering and loss. 4 to 1 points. You barely escaped death during Europe's darkest hour. Poor decisions and bad luck nearly cost you everything as the plague ravaged medieval civilization. Your survival is miraculous, considering you lived through an event that killed as many as 1/3 of Europe's people in 3 long years. 0 points or death. You did not survive the Black Death pandemic. Your story ends as one of the estimated 25 million people who died in Europe during this unprecedented catastrophe. You joined the countless victims of humanity's most devastating disease outbreak, becoming part of the historical tragedy that reshaped medieval Europe forever.